Yellowstone supervolcano hotspot may be waning. Discovery of ancient super-eruptions indicate this from recent studies by the Geological Society of America. June 3rd of this year, researchers report two newly identified super-eruptions associated with the Yellowstone hotspot track, including what they believe was the volcanic province's largest and most cataclysmic event. The results indicate the hotspot, which today fuels the famous geysers of Yellowstone, the mud pots and the fumaroles in the Yellowstone National Park, may be waning in intensity. And as we know, Yellowstone is the world's second largest supervolcano, and it has over 60% of the world's geysers. Now, throughout Earth's long history, volcanic supereruptions have been some of the most extreme events ever to affect our planet's rugged surface. Surprisingly, even though these explosions eject enormous volumes of material, at least 1,000 times more than the 1980 eruption of Mount St. Helens, and have the potential to alter the planet's climate, relatively few have been documented in the geologic record. Now, in a study published in Geology, researchers have announced the discovery of two newly identified supereruptions associated with Yellowstone hotspot track. So they've got two more in their arsenal of supereruptions, including what they believe was the volcanic province's largest and most cataclysmic event. The results indicate the hotspot, which today fuels the famous geysers, mud pots, fumaroles in Yellowstone National Park, may be waning in intensity. The team used a combination of techniques, including bulk chemistry, magnetic data, and radioisotope dates to correlate volcanic deposits scattered across tens of thousands of square kilometers. Quote, "We discovered that deposits previously believed to belong to multiple smaller eruptions were in fact colossal sheets of volcanic material from two previously unknown supereruptions about 9 and 8.7 million years ago." End quote. This is what Thomas Knott, volcanologist at the University of Leicester and the paper's lead author, said. Quote, "The younger of the two, the Gray's Landing supereruption, is now the largest recorded event in the entire Snake River Yellowstone volcanic province." End quote. This is what Knott said, based on the most recent collations of supereruption sizes. And he says it's one of the top 5 eruptions of all time. The team, which also included researchers from the British Geological Survey and the University of California, Santa Cruz, estimates the Gray's Landing supereruption was 30% larger than the previous recorded holder, a well-known Huckleberry Ridge tuff. So this was 30% larger than the Huckleberry Ridge tuff, and had devastating local and global effects. Quote, "The Gray's Landing eruption enameled an area of the size of New Jersey in shearing hot volcanic glass that instantly sterilized the land surface," Knott said. "Anything located within this region," he says, "would have been buried and most likely vaporized during the eruption. Particulates would have choked the stratosphere," he said, "raining the fine ash over the entire United States and gradually encompassing the whole globe." That's astonishing, isn't it? Now, both of the newly discovered supereruptions occurred during the Miocene and in the interval of geologic time spanning about 23 to 5.3 million years ago. He said these two new eruptions bring the total number of recorded Miocene supereruptions in the Yellowstone Snake River volcanic province to 6, Knott says. This means that the recurrence rate of Yellowstone hotspot supereruptions during the Miocene was on average once every 500,000 years. So it's not every 600 or 700,000 years, it's every 500,000 years. By comparison, Knott says, 2 supereruptions have so far taken place in what is now Yellowstone National Park during the past 3 million years. It therefore, he says, seems that the Yellowstone hotspot has experienced a 3-fold decrease in its capacity to produce super-eruption events. This is a very significant decline, he said. These findings, says Knott, have little bearing on assessing the risk of another super-eruption occurring today in Yellowstone. He says, "We have demonstrated that the recurrence rate of Yellowstone super-eruption appears to be once every 1.5 million years. The last super-eruption there was 630,000 years ago, suggesting we may have up to 900,000 years before another eruption of this scale occurs. But this estimate, Knott hastens to add, is far from exact, and he emphasizes that continuous monitoring the region, which is being conducted by the U.S. Geological Survey, is a must, and that warnings of any uptick in activity would be issued well in advance. The study, which builds on decades of contributions by many other researchers, grew out of a large project investigating the productivity of major continental volcanic provinces. Those with super-eruptions are the result of colossal degrees of crustal melting over prolonged periods of time, says Knott, and therefore have a profound impact on the structure and composition of Earth's crust in the regions where they occur. Because studying these provinces is vital to understanding their role in shaping our planet's crustal processes, Knott hopes this research foreshadows even more revelations. He said, "We hope the methods and findings we present in our paper will enable the discovery of more new super-eruption records around the globe," he said. And this was provided by Geological Society of America, by Robert Coe, Simon Tapster, David Finn, and Mark Reichow. Discovery of new super hotspots from Yellowstone Hotspot track is the Yellowstone Hotspot Waning by Geology on Geology magazine. This by Science Daily. If you'd like to join me on my Patreon account, you will hear content not covered by mainstream media. These riveting stories will be based on my research, and I will state my opinions and give my personal insight on diverse and controversial subjects and world events not covered by mainstream media, and not supported by YouTube guidelines. So whatever I have on my Patreon, most of those will not be on my YouTube channel. Please consider becoming a member today. More of the most significant and important videos will be on my Patreon channel. Your support helps me to continue my research and keeps this YouTube channel alive. And we depend on your support, your generous charity, because we help economically challenged families here in Athens, Greece, in Kapota, and we also help the young generation with university tuition and the community around our church. Thank you.